and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we want to talk to you about why in the world would RVers want to have a camp stove.
And we obviously have just purchased one, but it's something we kind of thought about. And number one reason?
Our number one reason is counter space in the RV. We have a stove in there, and it's a good stove.
We've used it.
But when you raise the lid that's on it, you're out of counter space. That is the bulk of the counter space in this particular RV.
And a second reason is, as we've mentioned in many of our videos, we do live in Texas.
Yes.
And so traveling in the summer, we really don't want to start a fire inside. It's gonna, I know you think outside, but we get campsites that have lots of shade.
Yes.
So it's really not that big a deal, and especially for breakfast and stuff like that, to fire up a camp stove instead of putting that heat inside is...
We have an air conditioner, we run it, it keeps it cool, but a fire inside works against the air conditioner.
Exactly.
A third reason for me is memories. We tent camped as kids, and this, my dad cooking on this, great memories.
It is, and that to us was the smell of bacon and eggs cooking in the morning and cowboy coffee.
If you don't know cowboy coffee, look it up.
That's, yeah, we're not. We got a little percolator that goes with this. But speaking of smells, that's number 4.
Yes.
Is, we have gotten where we really do enjoy fishing.
Yes.
And I like blackening fish because it's more healthy than fried. But having that, I don't want to have fish smell in the RV. And so we can cook that outside and not have to worry about that getting into the upholstery and stuff like that. And
another reason is with camping, if we use this, we get to be outside rather than inside. We spend very little time inside the fifth wheel when we're camping.
If we can, if weather permits, we're going to be outside enjoying our campsite rather than sitting inside. And so that is, let's face it, that's a whole lot more fun. And then a bonus, and I'll just throw this in there, is even when you're at home, if there's a power outage, you have kind of a backup way that you can cook. And so one thing I'm going to mention briefly from all of my research before we purchased this one, and let me just go on and say, yes, we did get a Coleman. Our dad had Coleman stuff that if we hadn't sold it would still be working. I mean, that stuff, it's as all the reviews I've read have said, you can buy some that are a lot more expensive, you can buy some that are cheaper, but Coleman's going to compete with those that cost a lot more. The other thing about camp stoves, and I learned this, and I'm going to tell you, we went with one that's propane. There are 3 basic, there's wood burning, but that's a whole different thing. There's 3 basic fuel sources. Propane is one, and that was the one we decided to go with. And the main reason I went with it is the only downside that people had to propane. There's a guy in Canada that was saying when it's 10 below, the propane doesn't work well, that it's a liquid, and I'm like, if it's 10 below, and I'm not going to be out there.
We're not cooking outside.
So, so that's why we went with propane. Then there's also butane. They have little containers. Let me go on and show you. Propane, you buy in these little bottles, and I will go on and show you. I saw a kid walking down the hall in school the other day, had this drink container from, if you can still see that, the only duct tape I had sunglasses on it, but I wanted to reinforce it. But this is holding 4 of these little propane things, and that should last us most of the season. But these little propane bottles that you get that go with these will last.
And
the other is
about how much?
It was $6.58, I think, for the 2-pack. But anyway, butane is another one. It comes in a different size, and the only real review I saw of butane was a guy liked the layout of the stove better. And then there's what's called white gas, and that was always the kerosene.
That's what our dad used.
And I did not know, but many of those you can they're saying you can use unleaded gas, etc. The reason we didn't go with that was because this one is about half the price of that one. And
Yes.
so the other thing is, at the end of the season, we're going to do a follow-up
Yes.
video.
To let you know, was this worth our time and money?
And we're going to have it linked at the end of this video. So if you don't
Yes.
see the link, then we haven't made that video yet. We're
Yes.
still trying it out and going to see how it goes. But we feel like for those 5 reasons that this was going to be a good investment.
Yes.
And if you have a smaller RV, it may be something you want to look into. It may be something
Yes.
that could help you out. So we'll keep you posted. One thing I want to add about this is when you buy the stove, you are just buying the stove. It does not come with a canister of propane.
No.
I wasn't sure if it would or not because the box looked like it might. And so just want to give you a heads up on that. If you buy this, you got to buy propane to go with it that first time. It's sort of like batteries not included. Well, the propane was not
Yes.
included with this.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, Two Tired Teachers.